Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to simplify expressions by combining like terms. But before we get into it, I wanted to show a token of appreciation to you guys that are currently subscribed and ones in the near future. When we hit 100 subscribers, which is going to be huge for me because I have not promoted on any other social media whatsoever, just organically growing on YouTube over time. I wanted to give something away that's math related, which suits this channel. And again, you guys are here obviously because you want to watch math related content. You know, you have a passion for it, you want to do well in it. So I thought nothing better than to give away 5 of these brand new sealed blue TI-30 XIIS calculators for you. Now, again, I told you it's nothing crazy, but you know, it just means something to me. You know, I started this channel for a reason, just doing math content because I love it so much. And so I thought maybe I could sign the box for you, even sign the calculator and open it up for you and kind of send it over to you just for a token of appreciation for subscribing and watching the video. So when we hit the big 100, which is coming up quicker than we think, I just want to send it to 5 of you guys. So without further ado, why don't we get into simplifying expressions by combining like terms. Now, before we actually start simplifying these expressions, I first want you to know, well, what is an actual expression? An expression is just a mathematical phrase that has numbers in it, variables or letters in it, or just has operations like addition and subtraction. It doesn't have an equal sign, so none of these are going to be set equal to anything. Our goal is to take a very long expression and condense it or simplify it down into its simplest form. And we do that by combining like terms or things that they have in common with each other. So the way that I teach it in my classroom is we highlight all of the like terms the same exact color. So that's what we're going to do here in number 1. I noticed that in this expression, there are a few different terms that have the letter X in it. So I'm first going to highlight those in yellow. So we have a 5x, we have a negative 9x, and notice how I'm highlighting the sign in front of it as well, because I want to be able to determine the difference. Well, is it a positive value or is it a negative value? And then we also have a minus 16x at the end here. Now you're going to notice that I didn't highlight the 3x squared. These are not like terms. So notice how 5x doesn't have a power after the x. So that is x to the first power. Well, 3x squared is raised to the second power. For them to be considered like terms, they have to have the same variable and they also have to be raised to the same power. So 5x, negative 9x, negative 16x are all like terms because they share the same variable raised to the same power, in this case 1. Whereas 3x squared is raised to the second power, so we're going to highlight that its own color because there's no other value here that has an x squared besides 3x squared. So we're just going to highlight that by itself in green. And then what do we have left? Well, we just have numbers left that don't have a variable at all, which are also known as constants. So we have a negative 6, we have a positive 13, and we have a negative 4. And notice how everything is highlighted on the expression, signs included and all, because I don't want you to miss a negative sign or a positive sign and then end up simplifying these all incorrectly. So now let's go ahead and either add or subtract them together. So let's start with the x squared. Well, that's by itself. It's the only one highlighted in green. So I'm just going to bring that down into my final answer because I can't do anything with it. I can't combine it with anything because nothing else is highlighted green besides that. So we have 3x squared. And now let's go ahead and combine all the ones that have x to the first power. So we have 5, which is positive. We have a minus 9, so 5 minus 9 is negative 4. And then we have negative 4 minus 16, which is now negative 20x or minus 20x. And again, notice how important highlighting those signs are, because if you end up not highlighting those, you might accidentally add them instead of subtract them. And now finally, let's go ahead and combine our constants, or just our plain old numbers. So we have a negative 6 plus 13, which is going to give us a positive 7, and then 7 minus 4 is going to give us a plus 3 at the very end. So our final simplified expression is 3x squared minus 20x plus 3. You can't combine these anymore because they're no longer like terms. One is x squared, one is just x to the first power, and then we have a 3, which is just a constant, it has no variable at all. So this is our final answer for number 1. So again, highlight your like terms, take your time, make sure you're highlighting the signs properly that are in front of your term, and then go ahead and combine them. And notice how I wrote my final answer. I have it listed in order, right? X squared is the largest variable because it's raised to the second power. followed by just x to the first power, and then if it doesn't have a variable at all, I just list it at the very end, which is just a constant. So you're going to notice that I always go alphabetical order and also raise to the highest power, just because that's how you're always going to see it as an answer choice. So now let's go ahead and take a look at number 2. Again, we're going to go ahead and highlight like terms right off the bat. So we have a negative 3w, we have a negative 15w, and notice how I'm going to be highlighting negative 11w squared a different color because, again, it's raised to a different power, even though it's the same exact letter. And now we have, looks like a different variable, which is positive 14s, positive 19s, and then finally we just have a constant all by itself, which is negative 9. And now we can go ahead and combine our like terms once again. So I'm going to start with negative 11w squared just because that is the only one that's raised to the power of 2, which is the highest power. I know it's not technically in alphabetical order, but since it's raised to a higher power, I'm going to write it first. So we have negative 11w squared. It's the only one highlighted in green, so I'm just going to bring it down and leave it the way it is. And then I'm going to combine our w's together just so it coincides with w squared. So we have negative 3 minus 15, which is negative 18w or minus 18w. And then I'm going to make my way over to combining the s's together. So positive 14 plus 19 is going to give us plus 33s. And then we just have a constant all by itself that we'll tack on at the very end, which is minus 9. And now this is fully simplified. You can't combine anything together because there's no longer any like terms. We have w squared, we have w, which are not like terms because one's the second power, one's the first. We have an s, and then we just have a constant of negative 9. So that's our final simplified expression for number 2. And now let's go into number 3 before I give you 3 to try out on your own. So again, let's go ahead and highlight our like terms. We have negative 4x squared and negative 13x squared. And now we have a, looks like just a 17x positive all by itself. And then let's switch colors and highlight all of our y's. So we have negative 3y plus 5y. And then we have a minus y. Now, if you don't see a number in front of your variable, in this case, we just see a minus y. That's really just a negative 1 in front of it, because what is 1 times anything? Well, it's just going to stay the exact same, which is why you never see a 1 in front of a variable. And then finally, we have a plus 7, or just a constant, all by itself. And now we can go ahead and combine our like terms together. So let's go ahead and start with the x squareds. We have negative 4 minus 13, which is going to give us negative 17x squared. Then let's go ahead and bring down our plus 17x because that's all by itself. Then let's go ahead and combine our y's together. So we have negative 3 plus 5, which is going to give us positive 2. And then 2 minus 1 is just going to give us a plus 1y or just plus y. And then we'll bring down our constant of plus 7 at the very end. So here is all 3 simplified expressions. Now let's go ahead and go to the practice session where you try 3 out on your own on a separate sheet of paper. Now it's the moment of truth. Can you actually simplify expressions by combining like terms? Pause the video, try these 3 questions out on a different sheet of paper, and when you think you have all the answers fully simplified, come back and play the video and see how you did. So I'm assuming at this point you've tried out all 3 questions in the practice session. Now let's go ahead and run through the answers. So first, let's highlight our like terms. We have a m squared all by itself there right in the middle. So we're going to highlight plus 4m squared. Then let's go ahead and highlight just our m's. So we have negative 2m and positive 21m. And then we have a negative 3n and a plus 9n. And we have a negative 5 and a negative 18. And now let's go ahead and combine our like terms. So we have a 4m squared all by itself. So I'm going to bring that down first. Can't combine it with anything. There's no like terms. Now we have a negative 2 plus 21m, which is going to give us a plus 19m. Then let's go ahead and combine our n's. So negative 3 plus 9 is going to give us plus 6n. And finally, we have our constants. Negative 5 minus 18 is going to give us a minus 23 for our fully simplified expression for number 1. So hopefully you're 1 for 1 and got 4m squared plus 19m plus 6n minus 23, and you're 1 for 1 going into number 2. So again, let's start by highlighting our like terms. So it looks like we have a bunch that have the variable of p. So we have 4p plus 13p minus 22p plus 19p, and then we have two constants all by themselves. So a minus 10 and a minus 11, and then we can go ahead and combine our like terms. So we have 4 plus 13 is going to give us 17. 17 minus 22 is going to give us a negative 5, and then negative 5 plus 19 is going to give us 14p, and then our constants should end up giving us a minus 21 at the very end. So very, very long expression simplified down to just two terms, 14p minus 21. So hopefully you're 2 for 2, and now we're moving on to the very last one here. So again, highlight our like terms. We have negative 27y squared plus 9y squared. We'll switch colors and then highlight just our y's. So we have a negative 1y, negative 11y, and a plus 1y. And then we have two constants, which are going to be minus 4 and plus 33, and now we can go ahead and combine our like terms. So let's start with the y squared. Negative 27 plus 9 is going to give us negative 18y squared. For our y's, we have negative 1 minus 11, which is going to be negative 12, and then negative 12 plus 1 is going to give us negative 11y, or just minus 11y. And then finally, for our constants, negative 4 plus 33 is going to be a positive 29 for our final answers. Hopefully you went 3 for 3 in the practice session and simplifying expressions by combining like terms. If this video helped you out, please make sure to leave a like on it, comment any other topics you want to see, and subscribe. Turn on that bell for post notifications to see when I upload next. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and we'll see you in the next one with some more mathematics. And good luck when we hit 100 subscribers for a brand new TI-30 XIIS calculator. Stay tuned.